$1,000.
Morning. I talk about culture a lot. I pray everybody's doing okay. Just like normal, I got stuff on my mind, so I'll go ahead and talk about it right now. If anybody was to ask me about what would be on my mind more often than not, I would say my kings. My kings is a thing for me in my head and in my mind that I think about all the time because of my understanding biblically the purpose of culture in a household. Got into a conversation yesterday, and the conversational topic was regarding Adam. When I was asked, somebody made a statement about Adam never, Solomon. Adam's another king. It's funny. Anyway, this discussion topic was directed towards polygyny. And in the discussion regarding polygyny, the statement that was made was that Solomon having multiple wives is not sin. And I said, yes, that's true, because it's not sin. I said the sin scripturally is that Solomon committed idolatry. You notice the book never says anything about his wives committing idolatry, although the punishment for worshiping other deities within the kingdom walls is death, which they should have died. But Solomon instead created obelisk altars, poles, in the name of these deities that his wives served. Now, knowing that, you have to beg to the question, did he care enough about his kids to make sure that he did the best he can to observe Yah's word, regardless of his wife's feelings and his wife's thought processes, for the sake of his kids? But even more serious is his father's name, the name of the kingdom, the name of the house of David. Did he care enough about his king, his kings that came before him, for him to not commit the atrocities that he committed in the name of seeking understanding to other things that were never supposed to be his focus anyway? The answer is no. Because had he cared about them, and had he desired that what he did, that what they wanted was done regardless of what he found pleasurable, he would never have done it. Joshua, as far as the book is concerned, the father that he knew was Moshe. So in that regard, he would have to care about his king, his father. His father is his first king. His father is his first leader. His father, he's the heir to the throne in the house of his leader. So this is before anything else. And even Moses teaches that you have sectors of leadership, sectors of powers. You have levels of judgment and thrones in the kingdom. That's in Deuteronomy. So for you to do random stuff, anything you think just because of the hell of it. It's crazy. So I think about my grandfather, Joseph Mike. Think about my grandfather, Rudolph Smart. And I don't know much about my grandfather because he died when my mom was young. Joseph Mike, not so much of good things. I can make up things in my head, but he made a lot of bad choices. And those bad choices influenced my father. And my great-great-grandfather, my grandfather, my great-grandfather, and my great-great-grandfather, they made terrible choices too. So, right away, they did not care about their heirs, and they did not care about their kings. In most cases, though, understand, these kings didn't care about their sons, too. They didn't care about their heirs, and they didn't care about what their fathers felt or did, you know. Remember, my family came from a group of people that were enslaved, okay? As Deuteronomy chapter 28 says. So, they had many hardships. They went through a lot of stuff. And it's all to blame on Solomon. People talk about Jesus and everything else like that. No, these issues were deeply rooted regarding Solomon's decision. And I think about the ramifications of those decisions and the decisions his children made after that. His great-grandchildren, his great-great-grandchildren. That it's already bad enough there's only 2 tribes within the tribe of Judah. It's already bad enough that the tribe of Joseph still screwed up and cost Israel everything. But then you're looking at the heirs of Judah, Yehuda, and the choices they made and the penalties that led us into exile, in which we've been pretty much in exile ever since, because we have never had full 100% control or say-so over our land since that time. It's debatable with Ezra and Nehemiah because, well, they were sent there by Cyrus, and Cyrus is not one of us. He was just anointed for the purposes of having a desire to see us achieve. So the thing is that they didn't have leaders. All they had was the scrolls, and the people read the scrolls, translated the scrolls, and they received the understanding of what was required of them and what happened as a result of their sins, and they mourned, they sulked, as they should. I wonder if my grandfathers were alive today and knew the things that I knew, if they would be the same people that they were back then, if they would operate and act the same way that they acted. And I wonder if I would still be able to say that I'm American, or if I would have ceased to exist because of the fact that my grandfathers would have probably never made the trek to America, and my grandmother would have never made the trek to America. My mom would have never made the trek to America, because they had some realizations or actualizations about what's more important and what's more of a necessity compared to the focus that we have today, as far as based on what we know and understand as Americans, and dealing with this whole situation of capitalism and being able to increase one's debt and one's responsibilities outside of their means without them actually doing something that should, in fact, create more of a debt upon them. So I think about all these things a lot. Think about my kings, and you should too. My godson, when he was younger, I was engaged to his mom, and I treated him as he was my son. And I made sure he understood that he was a prince. And I taught him right or wrong, and he took hold of that. And it became very important to him. It became so important that if anybody told him something and it was wrong, he'd say Roro said no, and that's it. He would say Daddy said no, and that's it. And that was in response to my honoring him and him then revering and honoring me. So my kings is what I think about on a regular basis. My kings help me not do a lot of things. My kings help me not say a lot of things, because I think about what they would say if they were here, what they would want me to do if they were here, and that within my blood lies their names, and I respect that and I need that wholly. Much love.